Watching film from Daniel Jones in 2021 to watching film from Daniel Jones this season in 2022 shows a lot of different aspects to his games that have been improved. Some stuff that I haven't noticed until I actually went back and watched how different of a quarterback Daniel Jones is from previous years. In this video, I'm kind of going to give you guys an idea of what Daniel Jones does differently, what are the things he's worked on, and a lot of things that were changing around him that helped him as a quarterback as well. What's going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new for more content just like this. And without further ado, let's get started. Now, if you guys watch Daniel Jones on film, especially in years prior, there's a lot of things that can jump out at you, but there's always been a lot of things that hold him back. A lot of things that just leave you scratching your head and wondering why he made that decision or why he's not moving in the pocket when he's mobile. And, you know, with his great accuracy, why he seems to just sail some balls through the end zone or out of bounds, things like that. In this video, I'm going to do my best in trying to show you guys what Daniel Jones has improved on, what are the things he's changed, and what exactly has changed around him to help him grow. So I really came up with 3 things that I think he worked on the most. Now, one thing I really want to put aside is the turnovers. We're not really going to be talking about that too much because I think that's pretty much a thing of the past with him and having a big turnover issue. He doesn't have those bad fumbles lost like he did in his rookie year or maybe his sophomore year, or the bad interceptions as well. You know, those are things he really cleaned up on. Even going back to last year, I think he had like 9 turnovers last year or 10 turnovers last year in the span of a couple of games, but he's really like even cut that in half this year. I mean, I'm not worried about his turnovers right now. He's making all the right thing, all the right moves, and not turning over the football. So we're gonna put that away. Another thing I really think that helped improve Daniel Jones's game is obviously the scheme. You know, going back into, you know, Joe Judge and his era, very conservative, very play not to lose, even though it made them lose. Jason Garrett with the curl routes, hitch routes, comeback routes, short out routes, and things like that. Those type of things kept Daniel Jones from being more productive, and it kept him in a box where he wasn't able to show off his arm or wasn't able to move around. He was pretty much a statue. And what I mean by that, he was waiting for, you know, the curl route, waiting for the wide receiver to turn around and come back to the ball constantly. Every route was like that across the field. There were no developing routes. There were no routes that you had to combine together with another route to help open up, you know, someone downfield. It just didn't work that way. Now with Brian Daboll, you're seeing the use of RPOs. You're seeing the use of, you know, like intersecting routes where you have a post route, you know, intersecting with a wheel route, and it's going to help open things up downfield. Those are the type of things that you see in Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka's offense that you never saw in Jason Garrett's offense. So one of the big things I've noticed is just pocket management and pocket awareness. In these past couple 3 or 4 games, I really noticed it more than ever that Daniel Jones is manipulating the pocket a lot more, and his offensive line is helping him. He's helping his offensive line and not staying still in the pocket. He's actually able to move around. He senses pressure as well. That's been a big thing of him. It was not being completely oblivious to his blind side, being completely oblivious to any pressure around him. He would just focus downfield, you know, dialed in downfield, and would constantly be, you know, sacked right in the middle of the pocket where he just didn't move. So that's one of the big reasons why he's a lot better in the red zone. The Giants are surprisingly one of the better teams in the red zone this year. Not the best, but one of the better teams. A big improvement from years prior in the red zone, and that's something that Daniel Jones struggled with throughout his entire career up to this point. And his ability to move out the pocket and create more time has allowed for plays like that Richie James touchdown where he was able to create time, let Richie James kind of improvise his route and get open for the touchdown. It's those times like that where it really shows that Daniel Jones has improved his pocket presence, improved his pocket management, and that pays dividends when it comes to winning games. And part of pocket management and pocket manipulation is going to allow him to run the ball. you guys know that Daniel Jones has set himself a career high so far with rushing yards, 708 rushing yards on the season, which is nothing to scoff at. I mean, that's a great number for Jones. I'm happy he's achieved that. A big reason of that, honestly, is his ability to have pocket presence. He knows when to just get out there and dip, right? There's not a lot of design runs, surprisingly, from the Giants. You don't really see a lot of design runs. Maybe you see like 2 or 3 a game, but you're not seeing a lot of design runs from Daniel Jones like you even saw with Jason Garrett's offense. You saw some design runs there where he would just take the ball and just go, and that's how he would make his rushing yards. But now the offense has allowed him to just take control of the play, and when you feel like you need to run, just run. And Jones is doing that. And a lot of his yards, his 708 yards, are not coming from design runs. They're coming from him moving out the pocket, trying to create time, noticing nothing is open and available, and just going downfield. And part of that goes into the second point, and that is decision making. Decision making just doesn't have to do with making the right call downfield when passing the football. It's also knowing when it's not the right time to throw the ball and it's time to use my legs and go downfield and hit those sidelines. And Daniel Jones does that, which is one of the reasons why he has like 7 rushing touchdowns this season. You've seen this against Indianapolis. You've seen this against Chicago, where he snaps the ball, sees nothing's open, hits the back door, and it's completely wide open, and he just runs it in for a touchdown. Those are the type of things that this offense allows him to have the freedom to do, and he does it very, very well. So the second thing I really think he improved on was his decision making. Not just going through his reads, which we'll get to later, but just knowing when is the right time to throw the football, right? His timing has been great. His decision making has been great when it comes to the situational football, like how many yards you need, or, you know, if you see a guy more open short instead of, you know, deeper, you know, you let that guy do his work on the short route and let him get some yak yardage. Like Daniel Jones has been doing that. His decision making has been a lot better, and you're not seeing a lot of those plays like you did early on in the season. To be honest with you, you saw that early on in the season where you saw a lot of players getting open deep and he's just completely missing them. You're not seeing that anymore. A little bit of that is part of the fact that Brian Daboll has kind of, or Mike Kafka has kind of eliminated those routes. You really don't see a lot of times Darius Slayton or anybody going deep anymore. They're kind of just keeping it at bay. They're kind of just keeping it in between like 20 yards, where he's just allowed to have a lot more options in those short in intermediate areas where there's not a lot of guys going deep, and that's one less receiver he has to worry about if guys aren't getting open. So that's part of the reason. But honestly, when I turn on the film, there's not a lot of times where I'm like, oh, Daniel Jones should have done this. Daniel Jones should have thrown this ball short. He should have thrown this post route. He should have thrown this comeback route to secure the first down. Like, there's not a lot of times where I'm seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of great decisions, especially in the situation. He has great situational awareness. So that's something that I've noticed that he's improved on greatly as well. Because how many times have you seen Daniel Jones in years prior just make a wonky decision? Like, why the hell would you throw that? The biggest thing to me when I think about that is Tampa Bay. When he went against Tampa Bay last year, Monday Night Football, and he threw that interception straight to that defensive lineman, and there was nobody in the vicinity at all to throw that ball to. I think Chris Myrick maybe, but just nobody was there. He threw it straight to the defensive lineman. That's a part of decision making that I think he completely cleaned up at. Now, what really ties everything together, the last key improvement that he made, which kind of ties in everything together, is going through your reads. Daniel Jones has been like infamous for being a one-read quarterback. Now, I want to say a little bit of that is attributed to the scheme that he was in years prior when it comes to, I don't really remember too much film on Pat Shurmur's offense, but I remember a lot of Jason Garrett's offense, and a lot of it was just turn around for the football. You run a hitch, turn around for the football. So a lot of it was kind of one read sort of offense, and where you're staring down the receiver. Daniel Jones kind of had a problem with that early on in the season. You kind of saw that where he threw that interception to Saquon Barkley in the end zone week 1 against Tennessee, where he just stared him down, threw that wheel route really late, and it got intercepted. Those are the type of things that he should have been looking at his read, should have been going through all his reads instead of staring down a receiver. He had a big problem with that in prior years, but this year you're seeing on film, you can see him snap to each individual read, go back once or even twice, and make the right move. So a lot of everything that he's improved on is just going through your reads, slowing things down. To me, a big thing with Daniel Jones is the game sort of slowed down for him because he's starting to pick up the speed, right? We talked about his pocket awareness, his pocket presence. He's able to move around. He's not really getting kind of like a deer in headlights where he's just sitting there waiting for something to happen. He's actually being proactive and just moving around in the pocket, going through all of his reads, slowing things down for him, but sort of picking up the speed as well. He's kind of getting up to NFL speed, which is something that you really want your quarterback to do. So I think that's the biggest thing as well, because when you talk about not going through your reads and being a one-read quarterback, pretty much every other route becomes irrelevant. Nobody really cares, or there's no option to throw to another receiver if you're just looking at one read, your first read, just constantly, because that's where you feel comfortable in. A lot of quarterbacks get comfortable in looking at one receiver because they get too flustered looking at everybody. It's just a lot of routes. Sometimes it's like five routes you have to look at to decide which is the best to throw to. So a lot of quarterbacks are going to get very comfortable staring at one receiver and just determining if he's open or not, and just firing the football. So that's everything I got for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How well do you think Daniel Jones improved his game from prior years? And like I said, I mean, do you think he's your franchise quarterback? I pretty much say that in every video, but I want to ask that all the time because everybody has their own different opinion, and I'm listening to everybody. Everybody has a valid opinion, honestly. There's a lot of people who swayed me in different certain ways, back and forth between Daniel Jones. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.